Hi guys, and welcome to my video. In today's video, we are going to be looking at the feminist horror film In Flames. It was played at Critics Week in 2023 at Cannes and was Pakistan's official submission for the 96th Academy Awards for Best International Feature Film. If you're new to my channel, my name is Paul. I review the best of world cinema following the race for Best International Feature Film Oscar, from countries selecting their film to the final winner. In this video, I will review the film. I will then look at how it did at the Oscars, and then I'll have a broader analysis of how Pakistan has done at the Oscars. So let's roll and review that film. Following the death of the family patriarch, Mariam and her mother have to fight the patriarchal forces of society in order to survive. The film charts how they eventually gain their own agency and independence. Directed by Zara Khan in his directorial debut, and with a stunning performance by newcomer Ramisha Nawal as Mariam, this is a film which at the heart is a feminist narrative. The narrative is a feminist critique of the patriarchal forces in Karachi society, shown through the strict enforcement of gendered codes, whether it's the strict dress sense or whether it's the separation of men and women sitting together on the park bench. We see this patriarchal structure in society throughout the film. We also see that sort of general fear of retaliation from men controlling women, whether it's through sexual activity, through violence, etc. The film uses the horror element to really push that fear that sometimes in such a society, women will fear men for what they may do. Without giving away the plot, the film actually shows how the central characters who are female gain their own agency within such a society. It never wants to portray these women as victims and are just subjected to being the lesser sex, as it were. Instead, it's charting their independence and how they gain their agency despite these existential threats. This is fundamentally about the women who are beaten down and fundamentally have to build themselves back up again. The film has a lot of complexity, in particular how it portrays the themes of guilt and grief, especially when they are in conflict with each other. The cinematography in this film is absolutely beautiful, and it does remind me a little of Joyland. However, both films have their own identity, but there is a certain familiarity that perhaps is carving a name for new Pakistani cinema. I suppose you could class this film as a horror film. However, if you're expecting a jump scare type horror film, this is not the film for you. Instead, it incorporates themes of elevated horror cinema to portray the sort of continual threat of men and masculinity in Karachi society. I particularly like its use of magical realism, which really shows the sort of supernatural elements within the film to just elevate the threat and the horror of gender-based violence. I have to be honest, not a huge horror fan. However, I like how it uses horror touches to really elevate that fear and while maintaining the realism of the film. So you're never taken out of the story into supernatural and unbelievable elements to the film. For me, this film is a 4-star film. It has such a beautiful feminist narrative without resorting to cliches of female empowerment. It shows that journey of women being scared to women being empowered and provide their own agency despite the patriarchal and violent structures that they live in. There is a really clever use of horror and supranational elements that I really appreciated as a non-horror fan, and it never takes you out of that realist element of the narrative. Many horror fans may not necessarily like it because it's not scary enough, but there is enough coded horror in there to really accentuate the threat and fear that patriarchy can bring to women. So that's my review of the film. Now let's turn to how it did at the Oscars. Unfortunately, In Flames was not selected for the shortlist stage of the Oscars. In my mind, this is a travesty because I would rank it as my 5th favourite from that year, from the 52 I had seen so far. It's a bold film with a very good progressive message and deserved to be nominated in the category. So let's actually look at how Pakistan have done at the Oscars. Pakistan first submitted a film for the Oscars in 1959. And despite this, they have only submitted 12 films, which may be due to political reasons in the country. From the 12 films submitted, Pakistan have only had one success, which was Joyland, which got shortlisted last year. According to my ranking, I would rank Pakistan as the 81st most successful country. This is due to low number of films and only one film making it beyond the submission stage. Despite this lack of success so far, I do see positive signs coming out of Pakistan. So Joyland, which was actually my favourite out of last year's submissions, and I would have given it the Oscar myself, got to the shortlisting phase, and In Flames, I feel, got very close to be shortlisted. So I feel there's this quality coming out of Pakistan, and if that momentum can continue, I think they could have more and more success. And if they can continue to deliver such stylized, beautiful, nuanced cinema, I feel there could be this sort of Pakistan new wave and becoming one of the most interesting cinematic voices coming out of Asia. So that's my take on the film In Flames and Pakistan at the Oscars. Please do, if you want to follow the Oscar race or see the best of world cinema, please do like and subscribe my YouTube channel.